Well, hello everyone. My name is Kristen, also known as Gallus, and welcome to my Final Fantasy Tactics Let's Play. We are playing the original Final Fantasy Tactics for the original PlayStation. I'm recording using a Hauppauge HD PVR, getting my commentary through Audacity. And we are gonna have some fun. The Zodiac Brave story. Final Fantasy Tactics. Released in 1998 in America, 1997 in Japan. Now this is one of those old Square games that use circle instead of X, but that's okay. Let's go. I am Alazam, a scholar of ancient Ivalice history. Have you ever heard of the Lion War? I've heard of the War of the Lions, because that's the sequel, or sorry, that's the remake on the PlayStation Portable. It divided Ivalice in two over who would be the successor to the throne. It ended with the appearance of a young hero named Delita. Everybody living here knows this hero's tale. But we also know that what we see with our eyes alone isn't necessarily the truth. Could be the truth was photoshopped. Here's a young man. He is the youngest son of the noble Beowulf, Pillars of Knighthood. There's no record of his playing an active part in history, but ... Look at those butt pants. According to the DeRay report, released last year, concealed for many years by Church, not the Church, but you know, the guy in the blue armor in Red vs. Blue. This unknown man is the true hero. In his butt pants. The Church claims he was a blasphemer, an anarchist, the root of all evil. But is this the truth? Won't you join me on a journey for the truth? Before that, please tell me your name and birthday. Input a name up to 14 letters. So, in Final Fantasy Tactics, here's our very, very, very first input decision, and it's actually kind of important. The name, not so much. We're just going to go with the default Ramza. But this right here, there's something special about this birthday that could actually impact the game in a way, if you're not looking out for it. But since I've got all my characters pre-planned out, we'll just go with January 1st, and then I'll explain it later. Here's our opening cutscene. Square presents a field of green and a broken wall. So Final Fantasy Tactics came out in 1998 in January, and it was written by Yasumi Matsuda and written and directed by Yasumi Matsuda. And you may know him because he's the guy that's also behind Final Fantasy XII, Tactics Ogre, and Vagrant Story, and most recently, Crimson Shroud. There's a couple of signs that let you know that this is a Yasumi Matsuda story. First of all, the storyline doesn't really revolve around one person so much as it revolves around a political field of combat, and the characters you're playing almost seem like they're in the background to what's actually going on. And if you've ever played Final Fantasy XII, you know that's the real story is the whole giant war between the two things, and what's happening with Ash and her party is just kind of off to the side, even though you're playing as them. Tactics Ogre is a lot of the same way. Very political-oriented story between royalty and such. And then all of a sudden the giant monster comes out as the final boss, and you're just like, okay, because there's this whole plot going on that you never knew about. Speaking of Tactics Ogre was just recently re-released on the PlayStation Portable, and it's very fantastic. Basically, how Final Fantasy Tactics came about was Yasumi Matsudo made Tactics Ogre, and Squaresoft at the time was like, "Okay, we want you to make a game like that, but for set it in Final Fantasy." And that's how we got Final Fantasy Tactics, which is itself a spiritual successor to Tactics Ogre. They share a lot of the same combat style, a lot of the same art. Because a lot of the same people worked on them. Final Fantasy Tactics will go on to have a couple of Game Boy Advance sequels, sorta, spiritual sequels, and the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and the Final Fantasy Tactics A2 games. For now, we're going to Orban Monastery. God, please help us sinful children of Ivalice. Here's where we meet our first important people. That chick over there, the little blocky chick on the upper right, is Princess Ovalia. And that's her protector, Agrius. The guards have already arrived. Princess, don't give Agrius trouble. Please hurry. The door opens. 3 men walk in. The Black Knight says, "What's going on? It's been nearly an hour." "Don't be rude to the princess, Gafgarian," for that is his name. The other 2 men kneel. Gafgarian just bows. He's not gonna kneel to a princess. "Is this gonna be alright, Agrius? This is an urgent issue for us." So there are rude names even among the Hokuten. We'll get into the Hokuten later, but mostly they're just a band of knights and mercenaries. "I'm being more than kind to the guard captains here. Besides, we're mercenaries hired by the Hokuten. I'm not obliged to show respect to you." "What? How dare you?" "Enough. Let's go." Go with God. You too, Simon. Oh no! Lady Agrius! The enemy! Prince Goltana's men? Like a lot of Yatsumi Matsudo games, they're gonna throw out names of people, places, and events, and you'll just kinda go, okay, who are the Hokuten and who are Prince Goltana's men? We'll find it all out later, eventually, maybe. Gafgarian, though, is just annoying, because what one must do to make money. What, Ramza? You have a problem too? There's our protagonist, Ramza. He's no longer a knight, just a mercenary like Gafgarian. That's right. Well then, let's go. Oh God. And with that, we enter the tutorial fight. You can't really lose this first fight. It's really, really hard to lose the first fight. I don't think I've ever managed to lose the first fight. But anyway, Agrius is startled. The crest of the Black Lion? What's wrong with Prince Goltana? He's such an idiot. Does he want to start a war? Knave! There's no point in resisting. Just give us the princess, or that beautiful face of yours will be scarred forever. Gafgarian comes out, with of course Ramza the other guy. Fool! Only idiots attack head on! Leave this to us. We can't make money that way. Rad, Ramza, follow me! So this is the part of the game where you're taught about the basics. You're given your condition screen. Defeat all the enemies. And with that, the game is off. Kill them all! Don't leave any survivors! Nonsense! There's no need to kill them. So already we have a major difference between Agrias and Gafgarian. Gafgarian is a little ruthless and bloodthirsty. Agrias is a bit more merciful. That's just what Goltana wants us to do. Just let them go. That's impossible. Also, like Tactics Ogre, there's mid-combat talks. Gafgarian is a Black Knight, so he has access to dark magic like Night Sword. And his job level goes up. A lot of this will mostly just go over your head as a new player. But what's important to know is the following. This is Ramza. He's your character. Everybody else is listed as a guest, which means you as the player do not directly control them. Or an enemy, which means they're your enemy. That should be fairly obvious. You can select any person to find out what their movement range is. Click on them to select their status to find out what they've got equipped. And from select, you can select anything to find out more about it. So we could tell right here that this is what Alicia's got equipped and everything like that. And a lot of this we'll go over later. But for now, it's just important to know that this is how you access everything. Other people. Now if you hit triangle, you pull up a turn list. It shows everybody's turns at the time that you pull the list up, and it's important to note that distinction. So right now it's Ramza's turn. After Ramza will be Agrias, Alicia, Lavian, and then the bad guys in red. You can also pull up a general unit list, which lets you pull up everybody currently under combat as well as sorting them by various ways. And you can pull up the options. This, I'm just going to change stuff to be fast. Show ability name, show effect message, target flashing, show unequipable item by job, max equip at job change is off. Actually, no, I can leave that on. Sound is stereo. And return default. I think that's all I need to do. Finger cursor, repeat speed, message navigation, message. Okay, I think that's all I just adjust. So for our first turn, you pull it up, you always have the same list of options. Move, act, wait, status, and auto battle. Auto battle turns on the AI, making your character act like a guest, depending on what you choose for them. Run like a rabbit, save fading life, protect allies. It's almost never worth it to actually use it. So you can wait, which just ends your turn. You can act, which is either your general melee attack or whatever item you have equipped, and your special items for your class. And you can move. Ramza has a move of 3, so he can move up to 3 squares. Actually, wait, does he have a move of 3? Nope, check that out. He's got a move of 5. So he can move up to 5 squares on flat terrain. 3 squares vertically. So the giant thing in the upper right is the height level. So 11, 7. He can't jump up this because that's a difference of 4, but he can walk around. For our turn, we're just gonna move here. What guts does he have? He's got dash, throw stone, heal, and wish. So we'll just wait and let the rest of the game play out. Agrius is a holy knight, so she gets access to other techniques. Most of this stuff is just going by too fast for mostly anybody to really know what the heck is going on their first time. But there's a couple of more things that we could see once our turn comes up again. That's gonna do that. So now we've got that, so charge attacks are going off. Rad's fire goes next. Charge +2. And a charge +2. So then Gafgarian gets to go. And that means it's our turn. So, a couple things. First, we've got 2 dead NPCs, or sorry, 2 dead enemies. Note the little stars. That means that they will not, that means they're pretty much unconscious. That's only true for this battle, more or less, and in certain situations. Otherwise, what winds up happening is a number will start floating above their head, and I'll show that in the next fight. But for now, just know that a person that has those little stars can be revived at any time. So what happened earlier was that these 2 archers did a charge, this knight did a charge as well, and Rad did a fire attack. Those all went off according to something known as speed. And if you had something, and I can show it later, but more or less just know that magic speed is different from your character's actual speed. We're just gonna hit this guy head on. In the lower right you see counter tackle. That means if he has a chance of doing a counter attack against me, that is a tackle attack. I've got a 70% chance of doing 42 damage to him. Might as well. And he did tackle back. So we can just wait. Nobody's really all that injured. And with the heal, the chemist is dead, so this shouldn't last much longer. We're pretty much gonna decimate them. Now sometimes when a character does a skill or an attack or a spell that has a little special effect, they'll actually call out a phrase for it. So life is short, berry, steady sword. And she casts steady sword. And that's it. Sometimes it's known as stasis sword. I think they changed it to in the remake. I can't remember. And our knight leveled up. That noise was me hitting the triangle button, so I can show you something. You'll notice that archer... Oh wait, never mind, it didn't go off. Never mind, I'll show it to you next time. But you could do that usually to interrupt the battle and pull up the AT list, which is useful if you want to find out what somebody decided to cast and you missed it, and to find out when it's going to go off. So the archers are out of our range. We're gonna throw a rock, which doesn't really do a lot of damage actually. It usually does about half of what shows up. See? So dude's still alive, but that's okay. Agri should be able to finish him off. See, it comes, she says steady sword, but it shows up as stasis sword. Go, go, Ingrish! Even though that archer is about to die, he still tries to charge and attack. points of rock force trouble to the skull. Just like that, we've won. Princess Avelia says, "Let go of me!" Damn, Agrius goes. Why on earth did everybody come out of the building? Come here, be quiet. Why should I listen to you? What an annoying princess. Punch. Just in case he thought that guy was a good guy, he punches women. And throws them on the birds. Wait! Agrius yells, because Delita's going to do that. Tough. Blame us. Don't blame us. Blame yourself or God. Because that guy is going to do that. Oh God, Agrius said, blaming God instead of herself. Delita? Robza said, perplexed. You're alive, Delita? But why are you in Goltana's troops? Why? Why? We might find out in part